Hello, welcome to another video. This, as the title suggests, is indeed the last video. I'm with the laddo here today. Say hello.
Hello.
You may hear him coughing a little bit today. He's got the lurgy. But yeah, this is going to be the last in this series of videos. At the end of the day, it was never my intention to try and make myself any kind of influencer as such. I just wanted to document my journey so far, share a different perspective, offer some tips, some advice from things that I've learned and picked up over the years, and I wanted to share something with my son here, a little bit of, you know, my passions, my life stuff really, kind of with him, and you know, I've achieved that. There's plenty of great influencers out there with so much more knowledge in the industry than me, and I don't want to end up being all kind of preachy and just rabbiting on about stuff that I don't really know, you know. That'd be disingenuous and inauthentic. So I think this is a good place to bring this series to an end. There will be future videos. I'll be going back to my acting and doing some writing, creating scenes, some monologues, and I'll be doing those. Obviously, I can't be doing that every week, or every day, should I say, like these videos have been. Those pieces will be coming every couple of weeks, maybe even just once a month. So as you can see today, we are not in our usual place up the chase. We're having to do this down one of the back country lanes. Unfortunately, the car engine, right before Christmas really, the engine decided to exit reality, shall we say. So we are without a vehicle now for the foreseeable, probably a good few months or more before we're back on our feet. But you know, we adjust, we figure it out, and keep on keeping on. Anyway, I think that's enough chatter. We got some questions. These are kind of random thoughts and questions that have occurred to me over the series that I've jotted down to kind of wrap things up at the end. So without further ado,
How can you keep yourself motivated and creatively active when you're not working?
so a good way to keep yourself motivated and active, keep the old grey matter ticking over, is to do what I'm going to continue doing after these videos, is, you know, write some of your own pieces, short stories, monologues, duologues, whatever kind of format works for you. You know, maybe even you're good with drawing comics or something, you could do, you know, create stories like that. You can try leaning on your own experiences in life if you're like kind of stuck for things to do. That can be a little bit more tricky because, you know, you need a certain degree of vulnerability, you need to open up a little bit, and you put in a little bit of yourself out there, which, you know, can be scary. But yeah, you can do that, lean on some of your own life experiences and just keep ticking things over.
Have you thought of anything extra you should be cautious of?
Yeah, so back when I did that video of, like, you know, what to look out for scam wise and stuff like that, something else occurred to me about people that try and make things sound too good, like really try and sell it up. You know, they don't really give you many details, but they big the whole project up that it's going to be great and this, that and the other, and that can come from excitement, but also that can be like someone trying to distract you, and, you know, so you just be a little bit mindful of that, and a little bit cautious really, not to get suckered in. Hello, how you doing?
Can you use IMDb on Spotlight?
Can you use IMDb on Spotlight? That is both yes and no, and only yes in my mind more recently, so to speak. So you can't use it to get onto Spotlight. So like an IMDb credit would be you do a, you know, maybe a student piece or something that has or is going to get put up on IMDb, right? And your name will be up there on the cast list and stuff, etc. That is a credit, okay? But you can't use that to get onto Spotlight. You need to do 2 years in an accredited school for acting, and what was the contracts? You had to do, was it 2 professional credits? I think it might be 2 professional credits. I'm not 100% sure. I might need to check up on that. Yeah, professional credits, which would come from an equity job, you know, a job on an equity contract as such. But once you're on Spotlight, apparently you absolutely can use your IMDb credit, which is a little bit backwards in my head. You can't use it to get onto Spotlight, but then once you're on, you can. It seems a little mental, but there you go.
How do you rename your files?
Yes, renaming files. So this is an important one. I may have touched on this before. On PC, it's real simple. You right click and rename, and Bob's your uncle. But I'm not sure about Apple, but on Android, I have an issue. If I try and rename the file through the photo gallery, whether it be video or picture, it like changes the name. But then if I go to an email and attach said file, it goes back to being random numbers. So what I found I've had to do is go into the actual, you open up, you know, your whole app, or the part with all your apps, and go to my files or files, and then you go through there to photos or videos and etc. To the root where the files are, and change the name directly from there. Then for me it sticks. It's not just a Samsung thing either, that's happened on other Android devices before, so I don't know, just bear that one in mind.
When should you leave your agent for a new one?
That's a tricky one to answer, really. I think if communication breaks down and, you know, you've tried to reach out and talk, and you just don't feel seen or heard, or you're getting the answers that you want, you know, you haven't got maybe quite the working relationship that you desire, and generally it just doesn't feel right, then maybe it's time to start, you know, looking elsewhere. But that's a whole kettle of fish, because it's not necessarily greener on the other side. You know, a lot of agents have very specific requirements. Some are more open to others. Some are starting out where they take on a lot of clients. Others, you need to do your lace. Yeah, I'll take the book. You know, others keep a smaller book, and for good reason, because then it means they get to dedicate a lot more of their time to their clients. So there's a good few things to consider there. It just comes back to due diligence again, and just take your time and make sure it's the right move for you.
Do you think manifesting your goals is a real thing?
No, it's funny, this one, because I've kind of been playing with it a little bit. I don't necessarily believe in manifesting an outcome for the sake of manifesting it, like, oh, I want it, therefore it's going to happen, you know. I think it's more, for me at least, more of like a mindset this manifestation business. Like if you set yourself a goal and you actively work towards it, with a good energy and good vibes, let's say, I've been noticing you get more like come back to you, more energy returned to you, if that makes sense. So is it real for the sake of it? No, you've got to make concise active steps towards it, and it's about how you set your own mind as well. So if it helps you out to be more positive in mind when you're working towards things, then it can only be a good thing.
Where's a good place to get showreel footage from?
So all else fails, you can always create your own pieces. I've mentioned that before. You can write your own little pieces and perform them at home, and just make sure you get good lighting and plain backgrounds, etc. No jazzy tops to be too distracting. Lines or patterns, stay away from those. But student films are a good place, because they often use equipment from the colleges or universities that are of a good quality. So absolutely, trying to get those pieces there. You can also, if you want show reel footage for your show reels, you can actually get it from your professional jobs as well. If you've actually I don't know, done something on TV, for example, just ask production, the production crew or whatever, and they should be able to provide some footage for you, hopefully, and then you can use that.
How important is networking in the acting industry?
Now, this one is a difficult one for me. This is probably my weakest point here, networking. So I will kind of defer to anyone out there who's already in the know, help me out. Give me your hints, tips, etc. As an introverted person, I find it difficult to just go up and start randomly talking to people. And do you actually do that at a networking, or you go to a casting event or something, where they're giving speeches, showcases, etc. That's not the right place to just go up to somebody and be like, hey, I'm an actor, give me a job. That's, at least in my mind, that's not the right thing to do. So it's like, how do you actually get in there? How do you get in talking to people in the know and stuff? It's it seems difficult, but you can build a small network around you of people that you work with, your peers and stuff. Say, if you're at college or whatever, you're in film school, and you're doing your acting classes as well and stuff like that, help each other out, then you build a network, and fingers crossed something will come back to you. You help them out and they help you out, etc. But yeah, I think that's all I can really share on that matter.
Do looks matter?
Do looks matter? This is something I've actually it's spitting slightly. Had trouble with him in my own mind. I think just caught up on my own confidence issues, self-confidence issues, and I've come to a realization with it. Do looks matter? The answer is both yes and no. It totally depends. No, because there's a job there's an acting role for anybody out there. Any race, any creed, any background, ethnicity, etc., whatever. There's something for you out there. Where do looks matter might be the type of production. So is it a high end, like are they really trying to sell like high class and that kind of high glamour kind of production? Now you'll find in those ones, you get a lot of good looking people, but there's still, in those kind of jobs, a role for anyone. So it depends on the role, it depends on the production. So yeah, it's both yes and no.
How can you use AI in a creative process?
So I've used Gemini on a couple of occasions to help create some pieces. I've given it like prompts of the ideas I might have, and ask it to like jot something up, you know, and create a small story, and then I'll take that and use that to a degree of some inspiration and try and create something, you know, when I've been stuck on what to write about. So you can certainly use it, you know, to create your little pieces and to help you kind of formulate your ideas into a controlled, clear line of sight, like an action plan. Because your mind, when you're creating, can be everywhere. You think of this and you think of that and you think of that over there, and oh, I can pull this in, and your mind's everywhere. So I've used it to kind of like consolidate all those thoughts and bring it into a direction. Yeah. Sometimes it's not always good, but sometimes it comes up with a little nugget of you know, something that could work. So yeah, you can try that.
Why do you see so much local hire required on listings?
That can be for a couple of reasons, because I've noticed, maybe I'm just seeing it more in general now I've noticed it, but you get a lot of local hire required. It could be specific because it's maybe they need authenticity. You know, maybe they want someone with an authentic look or accent for a region or area. It could be budget related. You know, maybe it's a low budget or no budget, and they're going to be filming in an area. You know, they can't afford to hire actors from around the country to pay for their travel or accommodation, so they look for people locally. And again, that just kind of doubles back onto the authenticity of it all. You know, if you're trying to keep the role looking, you know, real and have that believable aspect. I think we're going to have to turn around here because that's that goes up. Yeah, it goes up into a private farmyard up there, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's a long driveway, isn't it? So yeah. What's the next question?
What should people be prepared to learn about mental resilience?
Now I've got a couple of points to mention on this one. The first thing I think is to realise that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to, you know, when you're starting out or whatever, you're going to have so much passion, so much drive, but that can and does from time to time fade a little bit, and then you have to kind of like reinvigorate yourself and find your way to keep going. That's sometimes when it can get tough. You know, I think a stark reality for me was you can be doing everything right. Like, I've been trying to build myself as an actor now for several years, at least back in the game as such now. Actually, yeah, 7-8 years, starting out in the extra work, coming back to acting, etc. Moving on to trying to get myself professional roles and, you know, scene and stuff like that. I've got my show wheels, I've got my headshots, I conduct myself professionally by email. I've got a list of casting directors and such, you know, to reach out to. I perform my own pieces, I write my own material. I've done my own short film, put it forward for festivals, etc., with some limited success. and getting trained by an Oscar-winning actress who's currently active in the industry, along with my agent, who also teaches us all, and between them they've got decades worth of experience, you know. And I keep trying and trying and trying, and you get very little back, you get little nuggets here and there, but it's hard going to keep finding the motivation. But you have to keep going, because, you know, if you decide it's not worth it and what have you, and you quit, the only thing you're guaranteeing is that somebody will take that place that you could have filled. So yeah, be prepared for the long game. The inner thoughts that like to try and pull you down, tell you, you know, you're not good enough. But, you know, if you was going to get anywhere, you'd have done it already, and all of those kind of negative thoughts that you get, you know. I spoke about those before. When they happen, give them a little bit of air, let them happen, and then once they're done, treat them like a child and be like, right, if you finished, let's get on with the job, and you keep moving on. It's the only thing you can really do, to be honest. And yeah, I guess I need to get better with my networking. That might help. A little bit of luck might go with that, you know. You might have the talent, you might have the skill, you get in there, networking, but you also need right place, right time, and a little bit of luck sometimes. I guess we're all just trying to move towards those opportunities, really. You know, you have to earn those opportunities in a way. It's a, like I say, a long game. So just keep going at it.
What is method acting, and can you give any examples of any well-known actors who have used it?
Okay, so method acting in my mind is, you know, you might put yourself in a position. Let's think of a scenario. So let's say you're someone without a home, living on the streets, and you've got that role to play. You don't know how to play that role. You've never been in that position. So how do you play that? You know, now you can do maybe some interviews at some shelters or something like that, and try and talk to people and find out what life is like, but it's hard to truly understand that. So the method part would come in where you would then go and spend a few nights on the streets trying to stay warm, trying to find food, water, etc. See how people treat you, stuff like that, you know. So it becomes a lived experience. Then when it comes to acting, you actually draw on that experience. I can't think of at the moment any specific ideas of that, but I know Jared Leto is well known for his method acting. Shia LaBeouf, he'll like live in the moment as well. So like Inglourious Bastards, actually, and saying that word, I hope that's a film, by the way, YouTube, that is not me swearing, all right. He went, I think, weeks without showering, because, you know, they're in a tank with each other, right? A group of soldiers, right? And they're out on the battlefield. Now, they didn't have shower facilities available to them every day. Yeah, so he went without showering, to feel true and authentic in that moment. Would that have been nice for his co-stars and the crew? Probably not. But you've got to respect the work on on that, you know. So things like that.
Is Spotlight everything you thought it would be?
Now this is an interesting one for me to talk about. I worked towards my Spotlight for, you know, a few years, eventually achieving it through Midland Screen Acting School, with 2 years training with them. So thank you, Amanda and Rachel. Now, when I got Spotlight, I was over the moon, you know. I was like expecting to go on and see so much activity and jobs, you know, for big roles and stuff being put up and available. And, you know, you build your hopes towards it, but this is one of the turning points in, you know, your career. Was that the reality? No. The reality is it does have a lot of great resources. It is a great place for putting your headshots and your showreel footage, and agents and casting directors all use it, and it has great facilities for them to find talent. Now, what kind of jobs have I seen really? Well, you get a lot of commercials, you get a lot of students, you get a lot of no budget, low budget jobs, all the kind of things that you would expect on other sites, you know, like Mandy or Star Now or something of the sorts. The reality is, any little jobs that do come through for some bigger projects are few and far between, and they might be, for the most part, some little roles to fill here or there. So let's just say there's a feature film coming up, right, or a new big hit TV show. 90% of the roles, etc., are all going to be filled before anything even filters through to Spotlight, and that'll go to, you know, the job will go out to casting directors, and they actually, I just learnt, have the ability, if they wish, and this isn't to say they do on purpose, but if they wish, they can select which casting, which agents a breakdown goes out to. So they can keep it within a tight circle if they wish, or they can open it up more. I suppose that'll all depend on the requirements of the production and the level of the production. But then, you know, so not all agents are getting all the breakdowns, you know, for all the big roles. It could just be a few of them, and then obviously whatever's left might filter down on Spotlight. So in that sense, no, it's not what I thought it was. It's not what I hoped it was. Do you still need it? In my mind, at the moment, yes. There are other places I can house my show reels and headshots and label all my skills and such, but nowhere really which I believe is as heavily used by agents and casting directors. So in that sense, yes, you do still need it. That's all I really have to say on that one.
That's it from me.
Is that all the questions?
Yeah.
Right. All right then, so this is the end of the series. I think, you know, I've done pretty good since July. I've made in excess of over 100 videos with a few dozen feature videos, you know, along with the shorts. It's been an interesting journey. I've enjoyed sharing it with you and showing, you know, what part of my life sort of thing. And
Get soaked.
yeah, I think we are going to get soaked. It's starting to open up a little bit now, but never mind. So yeah, just I've achieved what I've wanted to achieve, I think, in my own mind, and documented what my journey so far. Hopefully some of what I've spoke about over these past 5-6 months will help somebody, and just keep on going, keep going at it. All right, you are enough, you are good enough. All right, just believe in yourself a little bit and just keep on reaching for the stars. And okay, I'll end it there. I'll see you soon. Editor John here. It has just come to my attention whilst currently editing the video, I've completely forgotten my manners and forgotten to thank you guys for spending some of your time here today, and you know, taking the time to just chill out with us and listen to what I've got to say, really. So thanks for that, and thanks for being part of the journey as well so far, and to this point, if you stuck around, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the likes and the comments you've been leaving. Please do continue to do that. The videos have gotten stuck in viewership jail, so to speak. It does a little bit better on YouTube, but across the other platforms it's stuck between 250 and 350. It's clearly stuck behind a paywall, and I'm not in a position or willing to fork out for that. So thank you for those who have stuck around. I really appreciate you guys doing that. So yeah, with that, be seeing you soon. Take care.